Hare Krishna. So today half class will be Bhagavatam class and half will be dedicated to Srivas Pandit or Srivas Thakur. Because verse is written on the board, so we'll recite the board and we'll talk something about the verse, then we'll discuss about Srivas Thakur. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanang Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Deving Saraswating Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naisthike. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, chapter 3, Hiranyakashipu's plan to become immortal. Text 15 and 16. In the board, text 16 is written, so I myself reading the first verse. Na dadarasa pratichannam Valmika trina kichakair pipilikaabhirachirnam medastvam mamsasonitam. Then the next verse is written on the board. Tapantam tapasa loka yatha bhrapihitam Rabim Vilakhya Vismitah Praha Hasam Hasamas Tam Hamsavahana Tapantam Tapasa Lokan Yatha Bhrapihitam Rabim Vilakhya Vismita Praha Hasam Stam Hamsavahana Tapantam Tapasa Lokan Yatha Bhrapihitam Rabim Vilakhya Vismitah Praha Hasam Stam Hamsavahana Tapantam Tapasa Lokan Yatha Bhrapihitam Rabim Vilakhya Vismitah Praha Hasam Stam Hamsavahana. Word meaning. Na, not. Dadarasa, sa. Pratichannam, covered. Valmika, by an ant hill. Trina, grass. Kichakai and bamboo sticks. Pipilika by the ants. Achirnam, eaten all around. Medaha, whose fat. Tvak, skin. Mamsa, the flesh. Swanitam, the blood. Tapantam, heating. Tapasa, by a severe type of penance. Lokan, all the three worlds. Yata, just as. Abhra, by clouds. Abhihitam, covered. Rabim, the sun. Vilakhya, seeing. Vismitaha, struck with wonder. Praha, said. Hasan, smiling. Tam, to him. Hamsabahana, Lord Brahma, who rides a swan aeroplane. Translation and purport by Divine Grace, Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Lord Brahma, who is carried by a swan aeroplane, at first could not see where Hiranyakashipu was. For Hiranyakashipu's body was covered by an ant hill and by grass and bamboo sticks. Because Hiranyakashipu had been there for a long time, the ants had devoured his skin, fat, flesh, and blood. Then Lord Brahma and the demigods spotted him, resembling a cloud-covered sun. Hitting all the world by his austerity, struck with wonder, Lord Brahma began to smile and then addressed him as follows. Purport. The living entity can live merely by his own power without the help of skin, marrow, bone, blood, and so on. Because it is said, Asango ayam purusaha. The living entity has nothing to do with the material covering. Hiranyakashipu performed a severe type of tapasya, austerity, for many long years. Indeed, it is said that he performed the tapasya for 100 heavenly years. Since one day of the demigods equal to 6 of our months, certainly this was a very long time. By nature's own way, his body had been almost consumed by earthworms, ants, and other parasites, and therefore even Brahma was at first unable to see him. Later, however, Brahma could ascertain where Hiranyakashipu was, and Brahma was struck with wonder to see Hiranyakashipu's extraordinary power to execute tapasya. Anyone would conclude that Hiranyakashipu was dead because his body was covered in so many ways. But Lord Brahma, the supreme living being in this universe, could understand that Hiranyakashipu was alive, but covered by material elements. It is also to be noted that although Hiranyakashipu performed this austerity for a long time, he was nonetheless known as a Daitya and Rakshasa. It will be seen from verses to follow that even great saintly persons could not perform such a severe type of austerity. Why then was he called a Rakshasa and Daitya? It is because whatever he did was for his own sense gratification. His son Prahlada Maharaj was only 5 years old, and so what could Prahlada do? Yet simply by performing a little devotional service according to the instructions of Narada Muni. Prahlad became so dear to Lord that the Lord came to save him, whereas Hiranyakashipu, in spite of all his austerities, was killed. This is the difference between devotional service and all other methods of perfection. One who performs severe austerities for sense gratification is fearful to the entire world, whereas devotee who performs even a slight amount of devotional service is a friend to everyone. Suhudam sarvabhutanam. Since the Lord is the well-wisher of every living entity, and since the devotee assumes the quality of the Lord, a devotee also asks for everyone's good fortune by performing devotional service. Thus, although Hiranyakashipu performed such a severe austerity, he remained a Daitya and a Rakshasa, whereas Prahlad Maharaj, although born of the same Daitya father, became the most exalted devotee and was personally protected by the Supreme Lord. Bhakti is therefore called Sarva Upadhi Vinirmuktam, indicating that a devotee is freed from all material designations and Anyabhilasita Sunyam, situated in a transcendental position, free from all material desires. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanaatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakhurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurubhe Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jana Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sopadantikam. Vande Aham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanitangascha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratise Namaha. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavatarang Bhaktakhyang Namami Bhaktasaktikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here conversation is going on between Narada Muni and Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj asked a question to Narada Muni in Rajasuya sacrifice. In Rajasuya sacrifice, when everyone was glorifying Krishna, especially Bhishmadev, glorify so much to Krishna, and Krishna was selected to the Supreme Person to be worshipped in beginning, first, to be worshipped first. Everyone has agreed, everyone was happy, clapping hands, but one person did not agree. He became very unhappy, immediately stood up and started blaspheming Krishna. Pandavas were very disturbed, all assembly was disturbed. Bhima was again and again just taking his club, is ready to just go to kill him, to Shishupal. But Krishna just stopped, everyone said, be silent. Because Krishna gave a boon, or he promised to his aunt, because this Shishupal is also has some relation with Krishna. Shishupal is a son of Krishna's aunt. So Krishna promised that he will tolerate 100 times blasphemy from Shishupal, but if he will cross 100 times, then he will not excuse him. So Krishna just waiting. So Shishupal just blaspheming one after another. Actually, indirectly, he was glorifying Krishna. Certainly, Krishna is a cowherd boy, herding cows. He steals clothes of the gopis. He is connected illicitly with other men. So many things he was just chastising. But indirectly, he was glorifying Krishna. So anyhow, because whole assembly was disturbed, so when he tell like 100 times he blasphemed Krishna, then Krishna, he was trying to blaspheme again, 101, but Krishna immediately threw his Sudarshan. Sudarshan immediately cut the head of Shishupal, but just throw out of Yajna, out of the sacrificial arena. But it was a surprise. The soul of Shishupal just the effulgent, like a bright star, effulgent, so he come to sky, and he was just moving on the sky. Soul is moving in the sky. Then finally, when Krishna peacefully sat down, then he come and enter in a lotus feet of Krishna, merged with Krishna. Yudhishthira Maharaj saw this. He was surprised how it has happened. He was such a great demon, and how he attained this type of liberation. So asked Krishna. But Narada Muni was present, so he asked Narada Muni. Then Narada Muni spoke on the whole history, the previous births of Shishupala and Dantavakra. How in this four Kumaras they cast, Jay and Vijay. They are originally the gatekeepers in Vaikuntha Dham. Then the first birth they become Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Second, Ravana Kumbhakarna. Then third birth they are Shishupala and Dantavakra. So that's why in this connection Narada Muni is explaining the previous birth of Shishupal. That he is describing about Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So they are same, Joy and Vijay. So Hiranyakashipu was actually Joy. So in this way, they are not ordinary demon. Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaka, they are not ordinary demon. No one can become a demon like them. They are considered as the first demon also. They are topmost demon. Because they come from Vaikuntha Dham. No one can conquer them in this material world. Hiranyaksha was also so powerful. Only his club, he traveled around 3 worlds. No one come in front of him to fight. He went and challenged to the Varunadev. Varunadev smiled. He told, okay, there is one person will come. Don't worry. Very soon he will meet you. And this way Varahadev killed whom? Hiranyaksha. Then Hiranyakashipu now become very angry. He told Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Person, and it is supposed to be equal to demons and demigods. But because the demigods are worshipping him so much, praising him, so now he took taking the side of demigods. he killed my brother. So now I don't consider him as God. He is now our family enemy. Somehow or other, I must kill him, Vishnu. Then Hiranyakashipu also traveled around everywhere searching Vishnu. Where is Vishnu? I want to fight with Vishnu and kill him. But Vishnu, Lord knows that they have to perform some pastimes. They are waiting. Prahlada should be glorified. So Lord did not want to kill Hiranyakashipu immediately. Actually, he is sitting in everyone's heart as super soul. But Hiranyakashipu, after searching in, even he went to the milk ocean and he did not find Vishnu there. So he declared, now God is dead. There is no more God. I am God. It will declare Hiranyakashipu. When Hiranyakashipu told that when someone come to meet Hiranyakashipu, then he have to shout, Bhagavan Hiranyakashipu ki jai. Even the demigods, fear of Hiranyakashipu. That Lord was sitting within in the heart of Hiranyakashipu also. But he could not see Lord. He wanted to see Lord. Could not see. So that's why in later on you see when Prahlad Maharaj becomes so powerful, Hiranyakashipu could not eat in any way. He tried all his best to kill this 5-year-old boy, Prahlad. Then he asked, Prahlad, who is giving you strength? How you become so powerful? Prahlad told, my father, my dear father, the source of strength is same. The same Vishnu is giving strength to you and he is also giving strength to me. Hiranyakashipu could not believe. He shouted. He told, no, I become powerful by my own strength, by own austerity. No one gave power to me. I am God. Declare, shouting. So anyhow, the materialistic people, they think that one can become God simply by performing austerity, getting some mystic power, some mystic powers and some strengths, one can become God. But it is not fact. Who can perform austerity more than Hiranyakashipu? Hiranyakashipu also desired to become God. So he went to Mandarachala mountain, and there he went to the top of the mountain and he was just standing with the help of his toe. Toe, just the toes, and putting hands up, looking to the sky. And he stood there for how many years? 100 celestial years means 36,000 years. And according to our human calculation, it is more than 360,000 years. Like that. So many, such a long time. You are standing. You are not disturbed. Even we are standing and some ant will come just bite us. We will immediately disturb. But our hand will directly go to kill the ant. Or a mosquito is biting. Immediately our hand will go there. But how Hiranyakashipu's determination? You are standing. He never disturbed. In the same pose, standing for a long time. So, even the ants and the insects, the earthworms, they first started eating. They seeking, and he saw that it is not a maybe dead body. They did not understand that he is alive. So they started eating first his skin, his flesh, his whatever more inside, everything they ate. Only the skeleton. Just like in some museum you see the human skeleton. The skeleton was there. And everything they ate. But still Hiranyakashipu is alive. Within that skeleton, soul is there. He will not die. He is still fixed in his position. Due to his firm conviction and great austerity, so one type of fire was coming. Fire and smoke is coming from his head. Just going up. Smoke and fire just going up. It was so heavy. Gradually it spread all over the this earth planet and go to the even heavenly planet. Even the demigods, they disturbed. They could not stay in their houses or in their palaces. They forced to come out and run to Brahma, to pray to Brahma. Please do something. Otherwise the entire universe is going to be destroyed by Hiranyakashipu's austerity. So this is the demons, they know that if you want to be powerful, then you must perform austerity. If you very become austere, it naturally become powerful. You have even in devotional life, if a devotee will perform austerity, like not demoniac austerity, Shastra Vidhi, just like you perform every Ekadashi Nirjal, remain awake in whole night, or you perform Singha Chaturdashi Vrata very strictly, naturally you will be spiritually very powerful, strong. Similarly, the demons, they perform austerity to become powerful, to destroy this world. As Prabhupada is mentioning, Hiranyakashipu desired to destroy everything. Because before coming to the austerity, to perform austerity, he gave order to the demons, go and burn all the villages, and they kill all the cows, kill the brahmanas, destroy gosalas, all like that. That is the purpose of the demons. So demigods went to Brahma and they told to Brahma, O Lord Brahma, do you know this Hiranyakashipu is performing austerity? What is his purpose? His purpose is to take your post, the post of Brahma. So you should do something, because demigods were very intelligent. They want to tell Brahma that he is going to be supreme lord of the three worlds. He want to be God. And he was thinking that Brahma being the creator of this material world, so he is God, because he thought that Vishnu has died. He went to the milk ocean and did not find Vishnu there. Vishnu is sitting within his heart, but he could not see. So he thought, I have to become so powerful. What is the use of this Dhruvaloka? Even it may be destroyed sometimes in millennium, end of millennium. But I should acquire the position of Brahma. But how Brahma performed and he got this position? By his austerity, tapasya, tapaha. When Brahma just emanated from the lotus that is sprout from the navel of Vishnu, then he first just sit down, he was sitting on the top of that lotus, he was thinking, who am I? And the first word he heard, tapaha. Then he performed austerity. So Hiranyakashipu follow the same tradition. If I will perform tapasya, austerity, and more than Brahma, then I can also become, I can get the position higher than Brahma. I can become God. So that's why Brahma also become little fearful. What is going on somehow or other, we must break his austerity. In other cases we see, when someone performs so much austerity, the demigods send the heavenly denizens to break their austerities. But Hiranyakashipu, even he conquered lust to get his position. He even not attracted to any woman, or he is not lusty in a material sense. In one sense he has lust because he want material position, sense gratification. But he was not attracted to women. Such a powerful man. So that's why Brahma, after hearing from the demigods about detail of Hiranyakashipu's austerities, so he thought, I personally must go, otherwise the whole, by his power of austerity, he could destroy my entire creation. That is power of austerity. Even we see in Dhruva Maharaj, when he performed austerity, and when he stopped inhaling air, first he was water, then air, just he was surviving with taking air. But he stopped taking air, then whole world was stuck. Even the demigod, no one can, everyone has problem to inhaling. So he forced Krishna to appear in front of him. Vishnu appeared. This is power of posterity. This is very. So, Hiranyakashipu, is described that his whole body, there is no body. So Prabhupada is making point in purport that actually we don't need a soul being the part and parcel of Krishna. Mamai Vangsha Jivo Loke Jivo Bhuta Sanatana. This living entity is also eternal. Like Krishna is, Lord Vishnu is eternal. A living entity is also eternal. Living entity can stay anywhere. Even within fire, within water, in air, anywhere. But because a living entity, its size is very minute. It is 10,000 parts of tip of a hair. It's so a living entity can stay anywhere. But because of our false ego, so a living entity wants to be an enjoyer, so he getting a material body for it to fulfill his desire. If no desire, then no need of any material body. Why you have material body? Because we have material desires. If someone has material desires and someone has material body and think, no, I don't have material desire. This is not correct. You have material body means you get this material body according to your own desire. Jantu deha karmena daiva netrana jantu deha papatte. That is Rushavdev told. So, because our desire we are getting, the Krishna gave this body, a particular body we are entering. If you have no desire, then no material body. So that's why Prabhupada make a point that a soul never dies. Who dies? The body dies. So actually, we don't need a material body. A living entity can stay anywhere. Living entity can live merely by his own power without help of skin, marrow, bone, blood, all these things. No need for a material body. So you see, practically here in Hiranyakashipu, actually his body is almost eaten by the ants and the earthworms and other insects. But just skeleton. Can you believe that a doctor gave the report that he was seeing the skeleton that the living entity is there? No. But here is even the only within skeleton, Hiranyakashipu's soul is there. You still performing austerity with the help of the skeleton. So actually you don't need material body if you don't have material desire. No jayate mriyate va kadachid. Krishna is giving this definitions in second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse 11 to 30, about making distinction between body and soul. Soul never die. No nainang chindanti sastrani, nainang dahati pavaka, no chaina kladayantyapa, no society marutaha. A living entity cannot be destroyed by any weapons. Even fire is not burnt. Even the air cannot take it away. Even any heat, any amount of heat cannot destroy. Maruta nainang chindanti sastrani, nainang dahati pavaka, no chaina kladayantyapa, no society maruta. Not. And by any way you cannot destroy soul. It is eternal. So like Krishna is eternal, his part and parcel, the living entity is also eternal. So we are automatically immortal. A living entity is immortal. No, but the foolish peoples, and like Hiranyakashipu, he wants to be immortal by tapasya. Why there is no need of tapasya to become immortal? The living entity is already immortal. Just to know this truth. But rather, he was thinking to this his material body to make it immortal. People think amara means or immortal means to make this material body immortal. It is not possible. So that's why Purusha, the living entity is also known sometimes Purusha. Gita is telling Purusha prakriti sthahi bhunkte prakriti jan gunan. Karana gunasanga asya sad asat joni janma. So we are accepting different mothers and different bodies because of association of three modes of nature. Urdha gacchati sattostha, madhya tisthati rajasa, jaghanya gunavritistha adho gacchati tamasa. Those who are associating with mood of goodness, they get demigod bodies, going to heavenly planet. And mood of passion, generally, the human beings, they exist in this planet. And those are more degraded in mood of ignorance, they go to the other degraded planets, lower planets. So, Prabhupada is telling that, so that's why we should not think that we become immortal. We are already immortal. No need to do some austerity. So, it is better to perform austerity according to Shastra, because Krishna is telling, ya Shastra vidhing utsujya vartate kamakarata na cha sukhang mavapnati na santing na parangati. Just like Hiranyakashipu. He is not following any Shastra. He is just doing austerity according to his own idea. No mantra, no spiritual master, just start austerity. So, that is not according to Shastra. This is breaking the rules of Shastra. Shastrang vidhing vartate kamakarata. Why Hiranyakashipu was performing austerity? Kamakarata. Yes, desire. Material desires to become God, to become very powerful. So you will see after he will ask boon to Brahma, that no one should kill. He was asking such boon that he will remain immortal. I am not going to discuss because time is short. So anyhow, so if someone not follow the Shastric injunctions and do whimsically austerity, then result, something he cannot be peaceful, he cannot achieve any desired goal. He cannot attain even the spiritual world. That's why Prabhupada told there no need of performing austerities unnecessarily, breaking rules of Shastra like Hiranyakashipu. Then Prabhupada made the point that why Hiranyakashipu was called Daitya, because he was not following Shastra. He was performing austerity for his own sense gratification. And his son Prahlad, he was a great devotee of Krishna. So because he is great devotee, so Krishna protect him. Why Krishna appeared? Paritranaya sadhunang vinasaya cha duskritam. So Hiranyakashipu was a duskritivan. He is a demon. So he was even instead of performing so much austerity, even Prahlad did so much austerity, but he performed some devotional service according to instruction of Narada Muni. So a devotee is more powerful than a demon. A demon may be performed austerities thousands and thousands of years, but Prahlad did any austerity like Hiranyakashipu. But still he was so powerful because of Lord's blessings. He was performing little. There's the Savanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. He is specially famous for always remembering Krishna. Prahlad Maharaj is famous for that. So Prabhupada is telling, a devotee who takes shelter of Krishna, he actually always remain fearless. He is always safe. He is always blissful. He always do something benefit for others. Suhudam sarva bhutanam, that is Prabhupada is quoting. Suhudam sarva bhutanam. Just like Lord is Suhudam sarva bhutanam, he is always think for he is a well-wisher friend of all living entities. Similarly, his devotees also always thinks about the benefits of entire creation. Even Vasudeva Datta, sometimes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associate. Sometimes he is also considered as incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj. What he asked? Boon to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Please give me all the sinful reactions of all the living entities, even 84 lakhs of species. And I am ready to take all the sinful reactions and suffer for time immemorial. I may remain in hell. But please deliver all the living entities from the cycle of birth and death. That is the mentality of a devotee. So that is the mentality of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj's prayers we saw. Prahlad Maharaj told, I don't want to go to Himalaya to perform some austerity or sitting in a cave for my own benefit to achieve liberation. Rather, I want to stay in big cities and preach Krishna consciousness. That is our goal. So, let the Prabhupada make this point, that we must be a devotee like Prahlad. Don't try to be a demon like Hiranyakashipu. Maybe we achieve some yoga siddhis, anima, laghima, prapti, all these things, but ultimately Krishna will kill you. He just like Nrsimhadev appeared and he killed Hiranyakashipu. So anyhow, in brief, I just told about this, the purport of that Prabhupada given. So today is appearance day of Srivas Thakur. He is also incarnation of Narada Muni. In Panchatattva, he is living entity, a pure devotee, Narada Muni. Because in this age of Kali, Narada Muni is a great preacher. No one can preach like Narada Muni. Prabhupada is sometimes known as Narada Muni of the modern age. He was also preaching like Narada Muni. Narada Muni always travel. He has no house, even Daksha Karsing. So, but as Srivas Thakur, he has house. Anyhow. So, when Lord Chaitanya appeared, so to help him in his preaching mission, Srivas Thakur appeared. Srivas Thakur appeared before. He was like his father's age, Jagannath Mishra. He was a friend of Jagannath Mishra, the father of Lord Chaitanya. Anyhow, Narada Muni knows that in this age of Kali, 99.9% people will be grahasthas. So he himself appeared as an ideal grahastha. In other, like he never preached for grahastha ashram. He was always preached for to remain brahmachari. Whom he saw, he always remained brahmachari. And that is, he made Daksha's sons, Hayaso, 10,000 and Subalaso and Hayasos. After 1,000, they made them devotee. Sent them back to Godhead. But in this particular, as in his pastimes as Srivas Thakur, because he knows how to preach by his own example. A preacher must be preach with his own example. So he accepted a grahastha ashram because to give an ideal, perfect idea how to become surrendered, how to offer everything to Krishna, Krishna's service. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is mentioning in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila about Srivas Thakur. How Srivas Thakur was dedicated to Gauranga. Chari bhai sabang ne Srivas Thakur are Srivas Pandita are Srimana Pandita. Dui bhai dui sakha jagate vidita. Chari bhai sabang se kare Chaitanya seva. Gaura Chandra bina nahi jane devi deva. Srivas Thakur and Sriram Pandit, they both brothers, they considered as the two branches of Chaitanya tree. And they have also two other brothers, Srivasa, Srirama, Srinidhi, Sripati. Actually they have one more brother also, he was died before, his name was Nalina. And this Narayani, the niece of Srivas Thakur, was the daughter of that brother who already died. That's why she was under shelter of Srivas Thakur, Narayani. So he's telling the whole family, four brothers, Srivasa, Srirama, Srinidhi, Sripati, they all four brothers and whole family members, they dedicated their life for the service of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. They have no other goal, simply to please Gauranga. That is their goal. And they did not worship any other demigods. Gaura Chandra bina nahi jane devi deva. They did not know any other demigods, any other personality for their worship. They simply meditate day and night on Gaura Chandra and Gauranga. Vrindavan Das Thakur says, who is more fortunate, Jagannath Mishra and Sachi or Sivas and Malini, who is more fortunate? He comparing, Vrindavan was telling, Krishna Janma Vasudeva, Krishna Janma Haila Vasudeva Ghare. Sorry, Sakala Vihara Tara Nandara Mandire. Just like Krishna appeared in the house of Vasudeva, become the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, but all his pastimes are in Gokul, in the house of Nanda Maharaj. Just like Nanda and Jasoda is more fortunate than Vasudeva and Devaki. Similarly, Jagannatha Mishra Ghare Yehi Avatar Shiva Sangane Tara Sakala Bihar. In this incarnation, he appeared as the son of Lord Jagannath Mishra and Sachi. But all his pastimes, Sankirtan pastimes, that is started from where? Shiva Sangan. Nityananda Prabhu was staying permanently there, as their like son, Malini. He was considered, he was thinking Srivas Thakur and Malini as his father and mother. So Nityananda Prabhu personally staying in their house, and every day Gauranga Mahaprabhu goes to Srivas Thakur's house. And whole night there is Nam Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that's why both Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and Vrindavan Das Thakur, they glorifying Srivas Thakur. No one can compete Srivas Thakur as devotion, because you are Narada Muni. He is a perfect devotee. So we see how we have to learn this from Srivas Thakur. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he want to show everyone that I am God, first he appeared there in Sivasangan. Because Srivas Thakur was a great devotee, and he was every night there kirtan, so the neighbors they are disturbed. Because no one also can enter to see kirtan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So those who are not getting opportunity to see Mahaprabhu's kirtan, they are all blaspheming Sivas. Even some Brahmanas, Smartha Brahmanas, and some Muslims, they get together, then one day they become very angry. They come to Sivas. Well, Sivas, now we have complained about you to Kaji. So Kaji is coming with his military force to arrest you four brothers. You are breaking the rules of his kingdom. So when the Kaji will arrest all four brothers and put you in prison, we all the village people will break your house, everything. We'll destroy everything, throw into Ganges. They are threatening to Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur was a little simple person. So he was become very, believing their words, become fearful. So he went to his dirty room, and he was inside his dirty room, then he was worshipping Salagram, and Nrsimha, he was meditating on Nrsimha Dev. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu was just, as Nimai Pandit that time, he was just wake up and just moving around in bank of Ganges. Then now he could understand, Srivas has some, he is in danger. So Mahaprabhu, running, just come to Srivas Thakur's house. Just he come, and Srivas was meditating in his dirty room. He closed the room, like, so from the outside, Nimai Pandit, the Gauranga simply make a heavy kick on his feet. So the door opened. So Srivas Thakur think, oh, Kaji may come. He become very fearful. But he saw it in Nimai Pandit. Then he told, Srivas, you did not recognize me yet. Look who am I. And immediately, just, he climbed on the Vishnu, that is the throne that is meant for Lord Vishnu, and Salagrams was there. He had two called Salagrams in his lap, and sit down on that seat that is meant for Lord Vishnu. Then he manifested his Nrsimha. He manifested as Nrsimha Dev, sitting in a Virasana, shouting, roaring like a lion. Srivas was looking, what he is seeing? Yet he was thinking he is son of Sachi and Jagannath. He has just now he become Nrsimha Dev. How he appeared as Nrsimha Dev? Actually, like Nrsingadev, shouting like anything. Srivas, now you see, who am I? Whom you are hearing? This is in Bengali, very nice verse. Kahare pujis, kariskar dhyan, jahare pujis dek, se vidyaman, to whom you are meditating and worshipping. Look, who am I? I am the Supreme Lord. Nrsingadev manifested and told, call your all family members. Call all family members and your servants, everyone. They should see my divine form and become fearless. So Srivas Thakur, then he told, okay, you are believing it or not? Call this little girl, who? Narayani. Then Narayani came, then sitting on the Vishnu throne, Mahaprabhu told, as a Nrsinga, hey Narayani, please, little dance in Krishna Prem, little chant Hare Krishna and dance and cry. Immediately Narayani started crying and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So everyone, little girl, so much crying that whole their house, the floor become just it wet everywhere. So first time Mahaprabhu manifested his as a Nrsingadev, he appeared in Sivasangan. Before that he never manifested it, that he never told. The only one Brahmana, he just saw his secretly him, his Bal Gopal Roop, 800 Vishnu form. But after that it is for everyone. He saw Nrsingadev, he told, call everyone to see me. So in this way we see when Gaur Nitaya Day, when Nityananda Prabhu came and he was hiding in Nandanacharya's house, then Mahaprabhu went with other devotees, because he first sent to Haridas Thakur, who was incarnation of Brahma, and Srivas Thakur also he was incarnation of Narada Muni. He said, go and find where is Nityananda. Some very exalted personality is hiding somewhere. Some guest came to Navadip, go. They could not find Nityananda. Whole day searching, come back. So Vrindavan Das Thakur is telling Lord, Mahaprabhu is teaching how sacred Nityananda. It is not so easy to recognize a guru, spiritual master. Ati guhya Nityananda yei avatare Chaitanya chinhaye jare se chinhite pare. In this incarnation, Nityananda Prabhu was very sacred. It is very difficult to recognize that Nityananda is Balaram. Only by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one can recognize that he is Nityananda. So Mahaprabhu, the Srivas Thakur also went with Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Then they entered Nandanacharya's house. Then he saw a personality sitting there, having the same bodily feature as Lord Gauranga himself. So everyone just, but he is wearing the yellow garment and he was wearing blue garment, sitting there and meditating on Gauranga. Then just when Mahaprabhu was standing in front of Nityananda, so Nityananda opened his eyes and looked at Gauranga. Gauranga looking into Nityananda, Nityananda looking to Gauranga, but tears are flowing from their eyes like anything, like torrent of rains or like rivers. But no one is telling anything, no one talking. So Mahaprabhu looked at Srivas, told Srivas, please chant verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Just indicated to Srivas Thakur. Then Srivas Thakur chanted famous verse in Venu Gita. Baraha pidang nata varabapu karnayo karnikaram bibhradvasa kanaka kapisam vaijayanti chamala randhan venu adhara sudhaya purayan gopa vrindai vrindaranyang swapada ramanang pravisad gita kirti. How Krishna Balarama entering Vrindavan forest for herding cows. I am not explaining the verse, it took long. So hearing this verse, immediately Nityananda Prabhu he was sitting. Now he stood up and started dancing and just again and again falling on the ground. So this verse was chanted by Srivas Thakur. After there is a huge kirtan, then Gaur Nitai, they danced. But at the end of kirtan, Mahaprabhu told, ask this person, this Nitai, where he come, who is his parents, so no one knows about what is his identity. But devotees could understand he is very dear to Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu told, in whose house he will stay, where he will stay in night. He has no house, he is Avadhut. So Nityananda, he asked Nityananda, where you want to stay? So Nityananda just show his finger to whom? Srivas. Told, I want to stay in this Bhamana's house, in this man's house. So now Srivas Thakur become very happy. He started jumping and dancing. Then Nityananda has selected me, and you want to stay in my house. In this way, Srivas Thakur took Nityananda to his house. Then went to his house, then they gave one room, Nityananda Prabhu, to stay in one room. But Nityananda Prabhu could not sleep whole night. Whole night he was just simply shouting, Amare kiniyaloha bhaja Gaura Hari. Whole night he was chanting simple, Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. Whole night Nityananda Prabhu was just chanting. He is laughing, jumping, and what he is doing? He break his pot and one stick. He broke his stick, he broke his pots, has simply laughing like a mad elephant, dancing. So Nityananda could not sleep, neither the peoples in their family, whole 4 brothers, their family members, no one could sleep because making a huge sound. So morning they went. Srivas Thakur sent his brother, Ramai Pandit, go and bring Gauranga. This Avadhut is what he is doing. No one. So Mahaprabhu came, he did not tell anything to Nityananda. Just took him, let's go have a bath in Ganga. And then come back, we will be, today is Vyas Puja, Vyasdev's appearance day. So there will be worship of Vyasdev. So he told Srivas Thakur to prepare everything. So Srivas Thakur prepared everything, Vyasasan. Then they put a very nice big picture of Vyasadev. All devotees came, they were waiting for Gaur Nitai. So they come back after a long time. Nityananda was just jumping into Ganges and try to catch the crocodiles. Anyhow, much difficulty. Gauranga Mahaprabhu just holding his hand, come back to Srivas Thakur's house. Then there is Vyas Puja, everything is there, Aarti plate is there, so first you have to give a flower garland. So Srivas Thakur gave the garland to Nityananda. Nityananda, give this garland to Vyasadev. Then Aarti will start, Guru Puja will start. But Nityananda Prabhu thinking, this guy, he is not putting garland, he is giving me, because he is Narad Muni, he is thinking, this picture is Vyasadev, Vyasadev is my disciple. Who is thinking? Srivas Thakur is Narad Muni and the picture of Vyasadev. So Vyasadev is disciple of Narad Muni. So he is not giving the garland to Vyasadev, and he did not know who I am. I am the Adi Guru, even Balaram, the next first expansion of Krishna. This guy did not know. So he gave to garland. I should put my garland to who is superior to me. So he is not giving garland to Vyasadev. Just moving here, there, around. So Srivas Thakur went to Mahaprabhu, told, please tell this Avadhut to garland Vyasadev, then we start Vyas Puja. So when Mahaprabhu came in front of Nityananda to speak about, to give, so when Mahaprabhu came in front, he immediately put garland on his neck. He offered the garland to Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Gauranga Mahaprabhu also become, he is also, immediately in a transcendental mood, he also manifested his 6 armed forms. So all the devotees, they saw, he is the Supreme Lord, and so the Aarti was performed to Gauranga Mahaprabhu, huge kirtan. So in this way, actually the Vyas Puja, ultimately In the parampara system, it goes to Krishna, Gauranga. So all these pastimes were happened in where? In the house of Srivas Thakur. Who is more glorious than, who is more fortunate than Srivas? Even Mahaprabhu one day come, he told to Srivas, this Nityananda, no one knows his gotra, who is about his ancestry, who is father, mother, where did he come, whether he is a Brahman or not, no one knows about this. Kick him out, I am telling, kick him out from your house. Don't believe him, just kick him out. But Srivas Thakur was laughing, smiling. He told Mahaprabhu, you did not get anyone just to examine. You come to examine me. I know who you are. You have only one soul and two body. Gauranga Nityananda, he told only one soul. You are not different personality, only two body. He told even Nityananda, I feel a sea on the road. Main road is, he was walking with prostitute. Hand to, they are holding each other's hand. And he has a bottle of liquor in his hand. Or if I'll see in prostitute's house, still his Nityananda is Nityananda. I cannot reject Nityananda. Nityananda is my heart and soul. Even I lose everything, my all opulences, my family ancestry, everything will be polluted, but still I cannot reject Nityananda. That is Srivas Thakur. So Mahaprabhu told, I started crying. He told, oh, Srivas, you recognize my Nitai. You are so fortunate. He immediately embraced Srivas. He told, maybe Lakshmi, if sometimes maybe it becomes such situation, maybe Lakshmi will go for begging, door to door. But nothing will be shortage in your house. Everything will always be full. For the service of Gaur Nitai. There is nothing short, any shortage in Srivas' house. Nityananda was staying in Srivas Prabhu's house. Nityananda Prabhu did not eat in his own hand. Srivas Prabhu's wife Malini will feed, just like a small child. So Nityananda will sit on her lap and she will feed in her own hand to Nityananda. Then he will eat. Sometimes you want to suck his breast milk. Malini Devi was an old lady, like about 45, nearly 50 years age. But still when Nityananda put his mouth on her breast, then immediately milk come from the breast of Malini. He was in a mood of a child. So Nityananda Prabhu was doing so many pastimes also there. One time Malini Devi was for the worship of the family deity, she made a perfect plate, everything. There was also ghee lamp, everything. Srivas Thakur just coming from taking bath from Ganges. Maybe 2 minutes he will just reach his house. So one crow came and just took the ghee pot. Just go away. So he's asking, Malini become in anxiety, told, oh, what can I do now? Srivas Thakur will come and chastise me if something wrong in his worship. So seeing that Malini was crying, then immediately Nityananda told, what happened, mother? Why you were crying? Now look, this crow just, he threw the ghee pot somewhere. He took the ghee pot from the arti plate and throw it somewhere. Now he's come and now he is shouting, ka, making here. Nityananda told, hey rascal crow, go and bring the ghee pot wherever you thrown it. Bring it here. The crow immediately went. Just carrying the ghee pot in his beak. Then the crow came and just put it on the courtyard. So Malini Devi was telling, oh Nitai, who are you? Why you are hiding us? Even your order, even a crow is hearing about your instructions. So in this way, Srivas Thakur, every night there was kirtan in Srivas Thakur's house, in whole night. One time a brahmachari from Navadip has a desire to see the dancing of Gauranga. Srivas Thakur, many times he requested Srivas Thakur to become merciful, a devotee. He told, okay, he just put in me room in one corner, then you can see the dance, Mahaprabhu's dance. But when that day Gauranga Mahaprabhu started dancing, he told, no, at little dance, then stop. Some unqualified person is here inside. I am not getting any happiness today. Who is there? Srivas? Is any outsider is here? Srivas told, what can I hide to Mahaprabhu? He told, yes, one Navadip brahmachari. He was a brahmachari. He was very austere devotee, austere brahmachari. Only eat milk and banana. He did not eat any cooked things. He is a Brahman, he never speak lies. All the Brahmanical qualities in his character. So he is a desire to see your dance. So I gave him a place. Mahaprabhu told, kick him out immediately. By simply performing austerity and remaining in mood of goodness, one cannot see my dancing without surrendering. So he is not surrendered, but he is just simply here. He want to just see my dance, but he did not accept me as supreme person. So how can he see my dance? So but Brahmachari was very intelligent. Immediately fell down in feet of Mahaprabhu. And he became a devotee. One time even mother-in-law of Srivas Thakur, she has desired to see Mahaprabhu dance. And she was hiding in one corner in a big basket. She sit inside and just putting clothes in, and then little he was looking, seeing the dance. That day also same thing happened. Mahaprabhu told, no, some outsider is here, non-devotee is here. 3 times Mahaprabhu told like this, then just he was searching, who is, then Srivas Thakur saw. His mother-in-law is sitting inside. Just cut his hair and just dragged her out of his house. For Mahaprabhu's pleasure, he did not care for others. His own mother-in-law kicked him out. So many stories. One time was Kirtan was going on in other house. His own only son was died. Srivas Thakur's. Women are just surrounding the son. Dead son, they are crying. So the sound of the crying is little come to the dancing room. So Srivas Thakur come inside and saw that what is going on. He understood that the son was died and these ladies are crying. So stop crying immediately. Otherwise I am just go and jump into Ganges. I don't want to disturb Gauranga Mahaprabhu in his dancing. The Supreme Lord is present in my house, and in his presence there is Nama Sankirtan, is Maha Sankirtan is going on, and in this situation this living entity is passed away. Who is more fortunate than that living entity? But so the women started forced to stop their crying. But little after Mahaprabhu told, okay, I am not feeling, Srivas, I am not feeling happy. Something happened in your house today. So other devotee told, yes, Mahaprabhu. Srivas telling, no, nothing has happened. In a house where you are present, how something inauspicious will happen? But other devotee told, no, Mahaprabhu's son was died. Then Mahaprabhu came and so, oh, Srivas, why you did not inform me about this? And dead son, Mahaprabhu simply put his hand on the chest of the dead child, dead son of Srivas. And he woke up, started speaking. Then Mahaprabhu asked, oh, why you left Srivas Thakur's house? You are such a fortunate soul, you born in such exalted devotee's house. Then Srivas Thakur's son, that living entity, started speaking. Oh Mahaprabhu, according to your desire, I have accepted so many fathers and mothers in previous lives. But according to your desire, I born this lifetime a son of Srivas Thakur. Now it is also according to your desire, I am returning back to your abode, supreme abode. So hearing all these things, everyone become pacified. So that is Srivas Thakur. Mahaprabhu told Srivas, how can I pay back you? You, for my benefit, for to give pleasure me, you sacrifice everything. Sometimes, okay, your son maybe died, but 2 sons you have now. both Nityananda and myself, we are your son. So Srivas Thakur was also crying. So in this way, we so many pastimes. Time already has already passed away. It is good. So we have to speak about this. It will go hour and hour. There are so many pastimes in Shivasangan. So that's why today is appearance day of Srivas Thakur. He is none other than Narada Muni himself, and he gave a perfect example of an ideal grahastha in this age of Kali. How to surrender everything to Krishna. He surrendered everything to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pleasure. So we have to learn from. We will read Chaitanya Bhagavata, so many nice stories about Srivas Thakur. He sacrificed everything for Mahaprabhu. So a grahastha should sacrifice like that. Everything for the pleasure of Krishna. That's why Narada Muni became a perfect grahastha, and by his own example he teaches to all of us. Okay? Srila Srivas Thakur appearance day ki jai. Srila Srivas Thakur ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.